Hello, grade 2 students. How are you today? I hope you are happy and ready to study our lesson. I'm welcoming you to our class, science class. Turn your book to pages 32 to 34, right? And so it's time for review. I believe you studied this last time and answered each one of them, all right? Including this, right? Because we don't need to study them. It's just a review. And congratulations if you did it very well, You're really good at answering questions and even right here now. But before we go into detail, all right, of what we will be studying today, and so I want you to talk about this one. I think you answered this already, right? Okay, about millipede, about these other things, and about living things and non-living things. Okay, so yeah, that was a long study that we did last time, and so it will take a long time if I go over it, but for now, okay, this is the focus of today's lesson on pages 32 to 34. So the title is How Do Living Things Reproduce? Okay? And so observe the pictures below. We have the bird, we have humans, watermelons, butterfly, turtle, and elephants. How do they reproduce? All right? So in this activity, before we answer this one, like group the above living things based on the ways of reproduction in the table below, I want you to answer here: give birth to the live young, lay eggs, and reproduce by seeds. I want you to group them in here, and about your conclusion in number 3. Okay? Now, we need to understand that living things reproduce. Okay? So reproduction is a process to have offspring. It means children or a new individual. Some living things, such as humans, like you and me, cows and monkeys, give birth to live young. So the offspring are small and they look like their parents. Look at these humans here, the kid there, and the cows. They are still like, grown up, all right? Like they look the same, monkeys, all right? As we studied before, but some other animals, they don't look alike when they were young. So some living things lay eggs, such as butterflies and frogs. The offspring may not look like their parents when they are born, but they will look like their parents when they grow up. We studied about that, from the eggs to larva, to look at this pupa. We studied this before, right? A larva hatches from an egg, and then a larva here turns into a pupa, and the pupa turns into an adult butterfly. Okay? And then the pupa turns into an adult butterfly. What happens after that? It goes back to the same cycle. So that's about a butterfly, right? It's look ugly, right? The larva stage, but beautiful when it becomes adult. Is it also possible that when we were kids, we're not so beautiful or handsome? When we get adult, we become handsome and beautiful? Except me, I lost my hair already. Look at the reproduction of this frog here, from eggs to tadpole with hind legs, and then to adult, and then it goes back to the cycle. Same thing with durian seeds here. I mean, most plants reproduce through seeds. Okay, it may be different from the animals. The seeds will grow into new plants, like the durian seeds grow into a durian tree bearing durian fruit. May not be exactly the same like the animals, right? But it's the same in the sense that they grow from very young, organism. And then the durian tree bearing fruit, it bears fruit. The same with the sunflower seeds. They grow into sunflower plants. However, non-living things do not reproduce. I'm sitting on a chair. This chair does not reproduce. In front of me is a cell phone. It does not reproduce by itself. Now let's find out Reproduction is one of the most important characteristics of living things, but not of non-living things. Find out why it is important for living things to reproduce and what would happen if living things do not reproduce. What would happen? Of course, what happened? There's no more animals and human beings will be gone, right? No more reproduction. So present your findings with examples in your class. What do you think? Well, did you know that the study of animal reproduction was already known about 3,700 years ago? That was a long time ago, right? I wanted to understand that. Yeah, there's a rich man, very rich man, a wealthy man. He has lots of animals and oxen, all kinds of animals. At that time, like one, animal was just like one Toyota car. Can you imagine? Yes, lots of this. And the big animals like one Mercedes-Benz. And he has, wow, hundreds of them, right? Thousands. He's very wealthy. Can you imagine that? His name was Job. A wealthy writer, Job, wrote in about 1750 BCE, that was about 3,771 years ago. And this is what he wrote, all right? In chapter 39, verse 1 of his book, he wrote, "Do you know when the wild goats give birth? Have you watched as deer are born in the wild?" Okay? And verse 2. It says, "Do you know how many months they carry the young? Are you aware of the time of the delivery?" Okay? Verse 3, "They crouch down to give birth to their young and deliver their offspring." Before the discovery of science today, it was already known before. Job wrote that it was God, his God, who said that. You see, the scripture in more than 3,000 years old gives evidence to the reproduction of animals today before the discovery of science. Wonderful. So let's wrap up here. Living things and non-living things. So living things need food and water. They breathe, they grow, they excrete, they move, they respond to stimuli, and they reproduce. However, non-living things do not need food and water. They do not breathe. They do not grow. They do not excrete. They do not move. They do not respond to stimuli. They do not reproduce. You see, this is a comparison between living things and non-living things. I want you to answer this page. What have I learned about living things and non-living things? I want you to use these words like eat, grow, alive, reproduce, breathe, non-living, move, food, respond, and excrete. In the numbers from 1 to 10. All right? And I want you to post your answers in the comment section. And even here, answer this one. What else do I want to know about living things and non-living things? Okay? I want to see if you can do it. And if you cannot, let us see what I can do. But in here, let us have a mind map about living things. We did it already. And so, about the glossary things that we already, studied. Breathe, about taking air into the body and then sending it out. Excrete is about removing unwanted waste materials from the body. And give birth, producing a baby from one's body. Grow, getting bigger and heavier. Nocturnal, it means active at night. If you're active at night, you don't sleep at night, you are nocturnal. And respond is a reaction to a change in the surroundings. Stimulus is a change in the surroundings that causes a reaction. Urinating is like peeing, going to the toilet to pee, removing liquid waste from the body. All right? Well, that's it for now. Bye-bye and see you next time. Have a wonderful day.